Save me a piece of that corn.
Good morning to all you corn feeders out there. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the little podcast on the prairie. Coming to you from our little studio way out on the prairie. And the winds are howling tonight. Thank God this house is made of stones mostly, because I think it would blow away.
Yes. What happened to your new rooster decoration?
Oh man, that's a whole nother show. I bought a glorious metal rooster that stands about, 4 or 5 feet tall. And I thought, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the prairies in the Midwest, but the wind can really get to roaring. And we've put out little yard decor things, and they all just, they get flattened and blown away. So I saw this big, heavy metal rooster. He doesn't play heavy metal. He's just a large, metal rooster. And, he's made out of like rebar. His legs were made out of like rebar and stuff. And I thought, now this is a lawn decor that will stand firm because it's so heavy and like strong. And so his legs are rebar, and then it's rebar going out to his feet, and they go in the front and back. So I put some large slabs of limestone on the front and back of his feet. So he wasn't going to go anywhere because the wind would have to lift probably 100 pounds of limestone to get him to move. And I'm proud to say that his legs didn't go anywhere. However, at the top of the legs, it bent the poor rooster in half. It bent rebar in half, and then the body, at that point, the body, like the weld came loose and blew the body off. It blew both of his wings off.
Didn't he get decapitated?
His head blew off. I found him in little pieces all over the yard.
He was so sad when he came in to tell me what happened. Yeah. He said, my rooster got blown apart.
Yeah, I just bought it. And one of his wings had flown down the yard a little ways. Luckily, it was heavy enough that it didn't disappear. Because a lot of things, if you drop things out here sometimes in the middle of a windstorm, they're gone. In fact, this is kind of gross. My wife doesn't like that I spit sometimes. But Kansas is the only state I've ever lived in where you can be driving, spit out the window, and the spit goes forward and it passes you. No joke. I've had that happen where I'm driving and spit, and instead of going back, I'm like, whoa. So, yes, a windy place out here. Anyway, back to the show. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we were thinking of something to talk about. We needed to put out there another podcast for you guys to enjoy. So we thought we'd talk about something that we can freely talk about and that you need to know. And that is all the info about us.
So, yeah, we wanted to take a little time to introduce ourselves a little more. The channel's been around. We're coming up on a year. I think we're a few months shy. But anyway, we've gotten a lot of new subscribers in the last few months. So we want to kind of reintroduce ourselves, who we are, what we're doing, and just what is this corn-fed life all about.
Why did you decide to name our channel Corn-Fed Life?
Okay, so first of all, we got to rewind a little bit. Some of you might know, we are originally West Coasters, born and raised. I've lived, actually both of us have lived in California and Oregon. I've also lived in Washington and Montana. Montana's not really West Coast, but it's out that direction. So West Coasters come into the Midwest. When we were originally going to move out here, naturally, as people that are really into YouTube, we went on YouTube and tried to find what's it all about? What's the Midwest all about? What are some good areas? What goes on out there? What fun things are there to do? And I pretty much drew a blank. There wasn't a whole lot of information that I could readily find. I found a couple of channels by Midwestern. Some of them are huge channels, but they're kind of more like comedy and different things, and they don't really tell you. And plus a couple of them are from the upper Midwest, and we were looking a little further down south because we're kind of wimps when it comes to the bitter cold. And the further north you go, the colder it gets. It does get a bit cold down here in Kansas too, but not quite as bad as Minnesota, Wisconsin. Yeah, it's survivable, barely. But So anyway, we thought, hey, that's what we were kind of looking for ideas for a channel to do when we came out here, and we thought, hey, that's the channel because people want to know what's going on in the Midwest. They want to know what are the happenings, what are the people like, what fun places are there to go. And so we thought we will bring you this information. And as you've probably gathered so far, our channel mostly focuses on the rural areas. If you want to find out about the cities, Chicago, Kansas City, there's plenty of stuff online about the big cities. There's lots to be found. So we're kind of more a small town. We do occasionally do stuff in the cities. We did a fun video. Make sure to watch it on our channel about the Omaha Zoo, for example, in Nebraska, and that's a pretty awesome zoo. So we do occasionally go to the cities, but we mostly want to show you what's going on in rural America. And so we were thinking, like, what are we going to call this channel? We knew we were going to be traveling around the Midwest. The Midwest to us was a great mystery. It was both of us have done quite a bit of traveling around the U.S., but hardly any in the Midwest. So we want to keep this kind of Midwest focused. Plus, it's stuff that's within, like a day or two drive from us. So thought, let's make it Midwest focused. What's a good name that kind of encompasses the Midwest? And one thing that just came to us was corn-fed life. I always liked the term corn-fed because corn-fed is synonymous with like good health and strength. And growing up, I would hear sports announcers say, "Oh, those big corn-fed boys from the Midwest," and it meant like they were big and strong and tough. And so I always liked that.
Corn-fed.
And let me read you a little bit of facts about the Midwest that I found. I looked up the top 11 corn-producing states in the U.S. I'll read them to you in order. Starts off number 1 is Iowa. Then we've got Illinois, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, Kansas, right in the middle, South Dakota, Ohio, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Michigan.
And Michigan kind of surprises me.
Yeah, so what do those 11 states have in common? The top 11 corn producers. There's something that sounds familiar about those 11 names.
Are they from the Midwest? What?
That is the 11 states that make up officially the Midwest. Now, the jury is out on Oklahoma. I know some Oklahomans claim that they're Midwestern. Some Oklahomans say they're Southerners. So Oklahoma is kind of, in between.
We like empty homesteads, so we're going to say they're from the Midwest.
Yeah, we are happy to include Oklahoma in the Midwest, but it's up to that. Hey, if you're from Oklahoma, we've been making a lot of friends. There's a lot of really great homesteading channels that come out of Oklahoma. So if you want to look up some great homesteading channels, probably half the ones you'll find will be from Oklahoma. There's just a lot of great channels there. So where was I going with that?
You're just saying like why we chose Corn-Fed Life is our name and a little bit about like what our production here is all about. And then later on we're going to get to these fascinating questions made by me that we're going to each take turns picking out of the sugar bin.
Uh-oh. I hope she did some good questions and nothing too scary. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of where Corn-Fed Life came from. It's kind of an all-encompassing Midwest theme. It's about positivity and health and strength. And I don't know, I just like the sound of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corn-Fed Life. It just sounds like something I want to be a part of. So hopefully you do too.
So would you do us the honor of taking the first question?
Oh, so we'll see what questions she came up with.
Okay.
And then you can find out a little more about who these two weirdos here are. All right. All right. Would you like to see the future or change the past?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
I thought that these questions are for you. Like each person picks out a question.
For ourselves? Well,
yeah.
I think you should ask the other person the question.
Okay. Let me see. Well, I think that the past kind of repeats itself because people are flawed anyway. So it wouldn't do a lot of good to change the past. But I would definitely love to see the future. I mean, you can see the future in the Bible, but to know from day to day, okay, what does this mean? Where are we going with this? What's going to happen to us? I think that would be ultra exciting. It might be kind of like a spoiler for your life, though. So that would be the bad part about it. But I would like to be able to see into the future 2 weeks from now. Maybe not like so far away, because life is an adventure, and I kind of want to see it unfold in time to find out what happens to me when I'm an old lady. But I think for now I would like to understand more what's going on around me and maybe see into the short future rather than change the past. I think it's kind of futile to change the past.
Yeah, and one thing we found in our lives, just to piggyback on that, is that our lives tend to change dramatically from one year to the next.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
And it's not something that we choose. It's just kind of like, well, we feel like it's God's plan kind of happening for us. But just when we think like we're comfortable in a situation and things are going well, then all of a sudden there's like a big upheaval.
Right.
Next thing you know, we're like moving across the country to Kansas or something.
We don't understand like why all these changes until we look back like a couple years. We see like, oh, this is why that happened and this is why that happened. But we've had so many changes in our short time together. We've been married for almost 11 years, and every year we say, I wonder what's going to happen next year, because it's almost a guarantee that every single year is going to be completely different than the year prior.
Yeah,
and it has been.
I think in that 11 years we've moved probably 7 or 8 times. That's including 3 different states, a number of different cities. Just, it seems like every year or two we have like a major move.
Great.
However, we are planning, God willing, to be here in this area where we're at for the foreseeable future, because it's now no longer just us. Mom came out to Kansas with us, Coreen's mother. So moving is a little harder when you get up to her age. So we promised her no more moves until you kick the bucket. Just kidding. We didn't say it that mean. But we promised her we will stay in this general area for the foreseeable future, because she moved. We originally moved to another town in Kansas. She moved there with us and she rented. Then we moved to a different area.
And she was just so fed up with moving.
Yeah. So she's like, well, what if I move down there and then you guys want to move again? So we said, no, we have found our place. Yes. The place that God just handed to us, basically. It was phenomenal. We love it here out on the prairie. It's just absolutely beautiful and just the kind of place that we want to spend a few years. So God willing, we will.
Okay, I want to ask you a question now. Let me see. Oh, this is a great question for you.
Oh, no.
What is the best thing about being married?
Oh, man.
You better make it good.
I don't know. There's so many things.
That's right. Go on.
One of the best is that I married an amazing bookkeeper.
That's the best thing about being married.
I always dreaded keeping records and paying taxes and all that. And this girl is a math whiz, and she's very organized. I am very unorganized. So I'm very grateful for that. But I would say the real main thing about being married to this gal here, as opposed to all those other gals I was
that you were married to,
is that she helps strengthen my relationship to God, and she challenges me in different ways that
every single day I challenge you
to a duel sometimes. But she challenges me to grow and to be a better person, and I'm really thankful for that.
I think the same about you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. I really had to grow up, actually.
Yeah, so it can be challenging at times, And by times, I mean all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, kind of.
But it's very rewarding because I know that like if I had stayed single and just kind of drift along, I wouldn't have improved, myself, my relationship to God, and the way I treat other people as well.
You always get somebody who's got your back.
Yeah, and that's awesome too because we've both been through tough times and on different family issues, and it's just nice to have somebody there that's supports you 100%, and that you can count on them. So that's probably my number one thing.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I got a double. You got to answer two. No. Okay. Oh, what things make you happy?
Oh, of course.
Pick me.
Of course. Craig makes me very happy. He does make me very happy.
When I'm not driving her crazy.
The different little funny habits he has and stuff. I love them. I think they're so funny. And he's also extremely entertaining. I love that. I love being entertained. And I think some of the things that really make me happy are surprising to me is writing. I have a little blog that I do very seldom. I should put up more posts. But it makes me really happy once I write and get into literature. And there's the WordPress community that's heavily into literature, and it's just fun to delve into that for a little while, take a break from the rest of the world, because that really is a part of escapism, is to write and to read, I believe. But it's a fun escape that makes me very happy. And also, it makes me very happy when I'm almost done with the project. I could see it coming together, like if we're renovating a home and we're just in the decorating stage, like all the rest of the hard work is done and we're just having fun shopping at the home goods store for all the decor, and we're going to stage it, and that just makes me so happy. The store that makes me happiest in this world is Menards. I never knew about Menards until we came out to the Midwest, and we always kind of, when we were initially out here, we would drive by Menards and we're like, what is that place? Is that like a sporting goods store, or what is that place? But it's the world's best home improvement store. It has everything in there. It even has a grocery store in there. But I'm so happy when I'm in there. There's like a huge selection of lighting and bathroom fixtures, and it's just like Christmas just going in there. It just makes me so happy.
It's like if you took a Lowe's and a Home Depot and combined them and then added it's a small grocery store, but it's like a Dollar General size grocery store, or maybe a little smaller, but it's like if you added those three stores and put them together, that's Menards. Just so much merchandise. Their lighting section just goes on forever. Yeah. It's kind of hard when you're choosing lighting fixtures. You're like, oh man, it's overwhelming.
Yeah. So to not sound so superficial, it really makes me happy that I never have to hear out of my husband's mouth, oh, I just don't believe in God anymore. It's just been too tough for me. I'm just too mad at God. I don't believe in him anymore. I never have to go through that with Craig, and that makes me very secure and happy.
Oh, thank you. And I feel the same. Yeah, it's nice to know that no matter what tough things come, your faith in God will remain strong.
Yeah. And we fight a lot, but we're always in it together at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you.
Uh-oh. What's next?
Oh, well, here's another tidbit about God. What do you think God's purpose in life for you is? Why do you think he made you?
I think he made me to take specimens from this planet and return them to my home planet.
That's a great answer. See, he's so entertaining.
Okay, I admit I stole that from, I think that was A Deep Thought by Jack Handy. Which, if you want to know my sense of humor, The Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy, I cannot read those without crying. I laugh so hard, no matter how many times I read them. So if you want to know, that is my
Let
sense
me
of humor.
interject. One time we were hanging out at a line to get hot cider after going through a corn maze. And he was reading these Jack Handy deep thoughts. And the people, even the people in the line were cracking up. Like, there was like 5 people that were like eavesdropping to what he was saying. And he was just cracking everybody. I think it was, the words. And then it was also his tone and his own reaction to them that just made him hilarious for everybody. But I always remember that.
So for those of you that are under the age of 40, you probably don't know. So look those up online. They were a thing that used to be on Saturday Night Live, but you can find them written out. They're like motivational statements, but then they always have like a twist at the end to make them kind of off the wall. And when I read them, it's so funny because I often can't get the punchline out because it's just so funny to me that like I read the basic part, and then when I get to the punchline, it's just I'm just dying, and people are like waiting to hear what the punchline is. Mostly because I've read them all before, so it's like I know what's coming, and it's still so funny. Anyway, did I answer the? Oh no, I didn't answer the question. Didn't answer the question at all. So, I think God's purpose for me, basically, I mean, I don't know His purpose for me specifically. I know as a Christian, His purpose for all of us is to honor Him, to glorify Him, and to share Him, basically to be a light to the world, to those that we come across, to basically represent Him, to take His name upon us and basically honor Him with our lives. I'm sure I don't always do the best job. In fact, I know I don't do the best job of it, but I try, and I think that's my main purpose. And God has different ways for each person to do that, and I would hope that this YouTube channel is a way that we can also do that we can show people entertaining things and educate them about the Midwest and whatnot, but also to point them to God. That's our number one goal on this channel. Like if you're being entertained and you're laughing and having a good time with us and learning, but you're not seeing God in what we're doing, then I would say that we're failing. So we hope that is coming across, and if not, let us know in the comments below.
You heathens.
Yeah. All right.
Your turn.
Stir them about. Okay. If you could change something about yourself, what would it be?
Well, I have lots of things to change that I know I should change that would make me a better person.
Like your drawers?
But I'm never going to do that. But selfishly, what I would like to change about myself is I would like to be much smarter than I am. I would like to be the smartest person in the room. And,
Are you going to cry?
Yeah. That's okay. I can just edit it out.
No, this is staying in.
Well, I wouldn't cry when I feel emotional about things. That's what I would change. I would be smarter, and like when I was working, I always was comparing myself to these other brilliant, people around me, and I was always feeling a little bit inadequate, I know God had me in my field for a reason, but like looking at these people that this wasn't an unusual feeling for my field. I know that most everybody else is the exact same way that I am in my field.
Well, that's probably everybody.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of deep down feel inadequate at what we're doing.
Yeah. It's just every once in a while when you get like a shooting star that was completely brilliant and knew everything, then you'd feel like, what am I doing here? I'm so stupid, But, that's what I would change about myself. I would be like the smartest person in every room ever.
Interesting. Oh,
my turn. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Tell me about what kind of kid you were.
Oh, man. Oh, man. How much time do you got? I don't know. You'd have to ask my teachers about that. I was pretty ornery at times, but I would like to think I was also respectful. I don't know. I guess if I compare myself to the kids of today, oh, man, they are terrible. Come on, parents. Teach your kids to behave. No.
Slap them around a bit. Come on.
No, I definitely, I knew, I was, as a kid, actually, I was shy in a lot of situations. I'm outgoing when I'm around people I know and like friends, and I kind of feed off their energy. But when I'm in a group of strangers, I'm actually like really shy. So that's so my childhood was kind of mixed depending on what group I was in. As a student, I was pretty ornery at times when I was a kid. One of the funny memories was, so my parents are both in education, and my mom was a school teacher for her entire career. And so one year actually I had her 2 years, she was my teacher. But 1 year she was my teacher, and she went out of the classroom, I don't know, to get something. And I locked the door.
Oh, no.
And I convinced the entire class not to open it. So she came back,
so
and my mom was banging on the door, and she was saying, "Open this door right now!" And eventually, she had to go get the principal, who was my dad, to come and open it with his key.
I love you.
So I don't know. It's funny because I'm sure that there was some harsh punishment for me.
Yeah.
Probably some spanking involved. But here's the funny thing, I don't remember it.
Maybe they were laughing so much.
But I do remember the prank. And looking back, I have no idea how I got an entire classroom to not get up. Because I think they probably all got punished. We probably all had to miss a recess because nobody got up to let her in. So I was a bit ornery. I was also a very responsible kid too. I started working from the second grade. I got a paper route when I was in the second grade, so I was throwing newspapers. And my family wasn't real well off growing up, and I am very thankful for that because it taught me to be resourceful and to make my own money. So at Christmas, when all my friends were getting Nintendos from their parents, I had to save up for probably, I think, like 3 or 4 months to buy my Nintendo. Because I think I made, what did I make? I want to say it was like $30 or $40 a month. So it was like all this work, and I just get, a little bit. To me, that was a lot of money, though. So, So I was also a resourceful kid and a responsible kid in some ways.
Very good.
So, there's a little bit for you. Sorry, Mom. Are you excited about the future?
I'm getting all the questions about the future.
The year 2000.
Future. Yes. I am very excited about the future.
Even though our country's going down in flames.
Yes. Because there's always hope, You never know what God's going to do. And I'm so excited to be here today and doing what we're doing now. I think that this year is going to be a blast. I think we're going to have the best time ever this summer because we're going to do a lot of bike riding. We're going to go to the lake 80 miles from Santa Fe, and we're going to go to the Lazy River. At our pool complex. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh my goodness. We live in a small town. I think there's 5,000 people here or 4,500. But they have the most amazing public pool complex. It's like
huge water slides.
It's got a swirly water slide. It has a lazy river that just goes around, and you can get a little tube and kind of float in circles, and it's amazing. I've never seen a town this small with this awesome of a public pool setup.
Yeah,
so
we're
so excited to get out there.
Yep. So I'm very excited about the future. I I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Okay. What does your name mean? And do you like your name?
Yeah, I do like my name. Craig means a dweller at the crags, is what I've been told. So, kind of a hermit up in the mountains. So just like me, right?
Yeah, right.
I like to shun.
He hates people.
I like to shun people and go up into the mountains.
He met somebody, went to Aldi's today because we'd never been, and I've always heard that, Clark Howard loves Aldi's, so I wanted to check it out. And then he met this one lady, he just asked her where the bags were, and then like a half an hour later, then we got back to shopping.
Of course, we'd swapped info, and she's our new friend now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gina.
Wasn't it Sheila?
Gina,
okay.
yeah.
I misheard.
Anyway, she was a super nice lady. And one thing we love about the Midwest, which she exemplified, is she was super nice, super friendly, and she asked us about our church. And I love that. That's such a typical Midwest question. You meet a new person and they'll often say like, oh, where are you going to church? Or have you found a good church? And that's something on the West Coast. I don't think I ever got asked that unless, maybe by a friend or something. But you don't meet a stranger and just assume they even go to church. But out here, it's a common question. People want to know, oh, where do you go to church? So that was awesome. And real nice lady we met. And her family has a farm, and she invited us to be part of their harvest. So I'm hoping come June, God willing, we get some rain. Everybody pray for rain out there. We need some rain here in Kansas, probably the whole Midwest. The farmers need that rain, so please be praying. But God willing, we get the rain. They're going to have a big harvest day, and she invited us to come and film that and be a part of it. So
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And if you think harvest sounds boring, then make sure you look up our friend from Smith Center, Doug Armconnect, and he does these amazing, beautiful harvest videos. His in-laws family, it's the LaRoche family. So I think if you YouTube LaRoche Harvest, maybe I'll put a link down below. But when we were looking for videos of the Midwest, that was one thing I did find, was all these gorgeous harvests. And I always thought like harvest sounds boring, but I just clicked on it because there wasn't a whole lot of other stuff. And these videos are like just pure cinematography, just absolutely gorgeous and very well put together. Really nice music. So yeah, check those out. I don't expect our harvest video to be anywhere of that caliber, but hopefully we'll make something exciting and fun.
We could get him involved.
He's probably busy because I know he does theirs every year. So whose turn?
I think you need to ask me a question.
Ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, this one's pretty deep.
Oh no.
Did your life turn out the way you thought it would?
No, not a bit.
How did you think it was going to turn out?
I thought I was going to get married when I was 20 and that I was going to have a yellow kitchen and that I would be a homemaker.
And where would you live?
And I would live in Oregon.
Where you grew up?
Yeah.
Right. In the house you grew up in?
No. But I just kind of envisioned it as exactly like my mom's life. Like, she had a yellow kitchen, and she got married when she was 18. But I always thought, like, I'd get married at 20, and I just I never really thought I'd have kids. That just never really went into the picture. So I was right about that. But the rest of it has been like far more than I could have ever made up. So I'm happy with how my life turned out. It's been a wild ride. I remember my dad told me that when I was getting married, he took Craig aside and said, well, hang on.
Probably.
But he probably could have told that to both of us because it's been a really wild ride.
What? No.
Okay, my turn.
One thing she told me that her dad said before I was in the picture, he just said like, oh, good luck to whoever marries you.
And he also said, when we went out to get a Christmas tree one year. We had a lot of fun because we did it in the middle of a rainstorm, of course. So we were cutting down a Christmas tree, and he said when we were coming back, he said, like, why hasn't somebody snatched you up yet? Like, you're so much fun. So he was bipolar. Okay, so tell me the best time you had with your family growing up, like a camping trip or something like that.
Ooh, well,
or whatever you want to answer.
No, I think you nailed the nail on the head.
On the coffin.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories growing up was our camping trips. Sometimes it was just my immediate family, but oftentimes we would go with my aunt and uncle, Aunt Nancy, Uncle Nick, and their family. And my grandparents would often come along. And sometimes we had two main places we would camp. One is called Dumont Creek, and it's way up the South Umpqua River in Oregon. And it's just a very special little campground. It's we did very primitive camping. I mean, the only facility there was an outhouse. So you took your baths in the river. You cooked everything over the fire. There was no RV hookups. It cracks me up when people say they're going camping and then they're in an RV with all the modern amenities. No, this was like straight up primitive camping. Like I said, our only amenity was the outhouse, so it wasn't as primitive as it could get. But and then
it's still an outhouse.
Yeah, and then the other place we would go was Jedediah Smith State Park, and that's in Northern California. Beautiful spot in the heart of the redwoods, and that had a little more amenities in the way of showers and flushing toilets. And I think people did bring RVs there, although it was all strictly tent camping for us. But yeah, the summers going camping, swimming in the rivers, going for hikes all day, cooking wieners over the fire and burgers and all that fun. That was just definitely some of my best memories. And just basically being in the outdoors every summer, all summer. I mean, Oregon was such a great place to grow up for a kid because you can swim in all the rivers are nice and clean. Well, not all of them, but a good portion of them, and just so much stuff to do. So I would say like family camping trips were probably the highlight of my childhood.
Very nice.
All right, on to the
Getting
next.
down to the bottom.
Yeah, there's I think a couple more, 3 more maybe.
Yep.
Okay. What has made you most proud? Pride cometh before destruction.
What has caused my most destruction? Well, I think just being able to figure out things that I thought were difficult. I remember being so proud of myself after taking a physics test because I was taught how to break down something very complicated into a whole bunch of simple problems. And to be able to think that way, and then I was able to apply it to different situations in life, and that really makes me proud when I do something that I did not think I could do, and realized that, wow, a lot of things are a lot simpler than I thought. It's not as complicated as you thought. So physics made me really proud, and
Thought you were going to say your good looks.
They've gone. But yeah, I'm proud to be your wife.
Oh.
And proud to be.
She's trying to get something from me.
Proud to be part of this family, and very proud of you.
This guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, shucks. Well, thank you. All right. Oh no, your turn to draw.
What time period would you live in? Not now. I mean, this is a great time to live in, like when we grew up and living now, but
I think if I could live in any time period, probably like the 1500s. When I was a kid, my mom would always read me these books about all the explorers, like Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus and all these people who are now like horrible people because they, fell out of favor. They were evil. But I just was always inspired by just that sense of adventure. The fact that all of these men got to be the first to see all these different things. And even like Columbus discovering America, people say, oh, he wasn't the first. But, being the first in his part of the world to discover that all these people were living here. And then just that sense of adventure. It's like, you feel like now there's nothing left to be discovered. Like everyone's done it all. They found it all. It's all mapped. It's all, the Google drones have flown over and taken pictures of it all. So it's like, there's nothing new to discover. And I just always was fascinated with what that would have been like to be the first person to see all these different things, and just that adventure. Of course, I know it wasn't as fun as it seems because, they went through all this hardship and death and flies and
flies
and maggots and pestilence.
Maggoty
Don't
bread.
forget the pestilence. But the guy that was Magellan that was credited with sailing around the world, he didn't even
make it.
He didn't even actually make it around the world. His crew and ship did, but he died. So,
Hey, his corpse made it around the world. Don't be
yeah,
picky.
I guess technically you're correct. Or did they bury him at sea? You think did they bring him home? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there's that. Maybe they did. I don't know.
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, where's Magellan today?
Because, I don't know if they would want to haul a stinky corpse, because I can't remember how long he died before they reached, but I know it was at least probably a few weeks, if not months.
Stick him in a bunch of salt. He'll be good to go.
Yeah, so anyway, that would have been a fun time to have lived in the age of adventure and discovery and all that. Oh.
Final
question. Oh. What do you admire the most about your spouse? I like this one. You better be good.
Bravery. Hands down.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it takes a lot of bravery to be married to this one.
If I need anybody to go out into the fray, this guy's it.
Plus,
very brave.
What do I slay for you whenever it needs slaying?
Oh, those icky spiders.
She doesn't handle spiders.
No.
She can ride a motorcycle through the dark woods, over the mountains, on the logging roads in the middle of the night, and not be scared. Even though there are bears and different cats and who knows what in the Northwest. And, I'll say, like, this is kind of freaky being out here, and she'll be like, what? Why?
Well, that's just idiocy. That's not bravery. Like, bravery is being afraid of something but doing it anyway. Yeah. You'll do it, even if you...
But a little bitty spider. And she says, Craig, get in here. I always know what it is. Gotta slay a spider.
Yep. So bring us on home here. What is the last thing that you want people to know about us?
Ooh, the last thing to know about us.
We could be normal.
Well, I guess, one thing I want to say is I want to thank all the Midwesterners that we've come across that have welcomed us to the Midwest. We've had quite a few that said, welcome to the Midwest. And, we hope you like it. And we just appreciate that because I know sometimes people don't like outsiders coming in. So I appreciate all those that have welcomed us. And so if you ever come across us in the Midwest, we'd love to meet you. We love meeting new people. That's one of the exciting things about this channel. We get to spots that are new to us. We get to meet all these fun new people. Today we had a great adventure to
the Cozy Inn.
So this, so if you could smell us right now, we have a strong odor of onion.
We reek of it.
If you ever go anywhere near Salina, Kansas, you got to stop in at the Cozy Inn. It is awesome. Well, we got a video coming up about it, so stay tuned for that. But we wanted to showcase our little shirts that we got from it.
I didn't say this to the owner because I didn't want him to take offense, but I love me some McDonald's hamburgers, and his little sliders were just as good as the McDonald's hamburgers. They were so good.
I would say a little better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, that just wanted to give a quick shout out to Steve there at the Cozy Inn. That was an awesome place. But anyway, I think I got a little off track here. But so we're excited to bring this new channel to you. It's as you can see if you look through our videos, we want it to be a variety channel. We're not stuck on one thing. We're meeting new people. We're interviewing them. We're showing you new places. We're doing this little podcast on the prairie where we just talk about different themes. We would love suggestions too. So if you have anything you would like us to talk about, especially if it's Midwest themed, although it doesn't have to be, leave it in the comments below and we'll look into it. But we want to just be a variety channel where, every week you tune in, and our goal is to put out a couple videos a week, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. But we want to just be something different every time. So not the same type of videos. That's kind of what we're about. And like we said, ultimately, through all of it, we want to make sure we're giving glory to God, who's the one that made all of this and gave us the ability to come out here and see all this.
I think he appreciates it when we appreciate it. When we delight in this world, then I think he's really happy about that because this is the world that he's made.
Yeah. And when you're out driving around and you just see some beautiful, gorgeous landscape or a gorgeous sunset,
or people.
Yeah, make sure to thank him because it's, he's the creator of all of this. And it's so awesome that he created all this for us to enjoy. He could have just made us and then put us on some Mars-looking planet and, where we're just like little robots going around. But it shows that he delights in us and loves us, that he created this amazing world in which we get to live. So that's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, we're definitely having fun exploring this part of the world.
Yeah. So, this part of the world has a reputation of being flyover country, but I would say huge mistake. You do not want to fly over the Midwest. There's so much to see and do here. It's just, especially, like I said, we focus mostly on rural Midwest. The rural Midwest is anything but boring. There is always something going on, and what's neat is there's little towns all throughout the Midwest. So if your town's not doing something this week, guess what? The neighboring town's got some festival going on. Or over here there's a pancake feed or a fish fry. And so, usually within 20, 30 minutes of anywhere you live, there's just fun stuff going on and fun people. And the Midwest is awesome. We are absolutely loving it here. If somebody could turn down the wind a little bit, that would be
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while, this is what I kind of say to myself. Every once in a while, the wind completely dies down, and the Midwest is like heaven.
Yeah, it's so peaceful.
And it's a great place even when the wind is blowing. But when the wind dies down, it's like, oh man, this is so beautiful. It's so peaceful, so calm. Especially out here on the prairie, it's just, you can see a million miles in every direction. It's such a neat thing for me to see the moon rise up over the cornfields. That's just like, wow, it's neat. It's almost, I would say it's akin to watching the moon rise over the ocean or set over the ocean. It's kind of the same thing. You're looking straight out at a cornfield, and then the moon just comes up, and it's huge, and it's something I've never seen. So anyway, yeah, don't fly over the Midwest unless you just want to miss out on just so much to see and do out here. So anyway, that's us. That's who we are. That's what the channel's about. And we look forward to meeting some of you. And if you're ever in Kansas, look us up. And we're looking to do more traveling around. We're hoping to meet some of our other YouTube channel friends this coming year. We've met some really phenomenal people. And we're looking forward to maybe getting down to Oklahoma, to Missouri, and some other places around and meeting people this year. And also, we love suggestions on videos. If there's a place out here that you've wondered about, especially, like I say, rural areas, let us know. Maybe it'll give us some good ideas of things to get out and explore.
Hey. So
anything else?
Nope. Just
we got it all?
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in and being with us week after week. And we really appreciate it. And we hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And God bless. So we're parked out by the lake to let you know that if you liked that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, if you go to the description below, you can find a link to our online store where you can buy all kinds of fun corn-fed merchandise, like this one-of-a-kind t-shirt. Or if you want to go a step further and support us in our corn-fed endeavors, you can buy us an ear of corn or two by
going to patreon.com/cornfedlife, and for as little as $1 a month, you can help support some starving YouTubers.
Thanks for watching.